The first moments of 2025 were meant to be a time of joyous celebration in New Orleans. The French Quarter, with its iconic balconies and vibrant energy, was teeming with revelers. But at 3:15 a.m., the festive atmosphere was shattered. A white Ford pickup truck careening down Bourbon Street transformed the scene from one of merriment to one of horror. Eyewitnesses described the horrific moment the truck plowed into the unsuspecting crowd. Bodies were thrown into the air as the truck, a deadly battering ram, carved a path of destruction through the heart of the celebration. 10 lives were tragically cut short that night, forever marring the dawn of the new year. 35 others bore the physical and emotional scars of the attack, their lives irrevocably altered. The French Quarter, usually alive with the sounds of jazz and laughter, fell eerily silent, a somber testament to the fragility of peace. In the immediate aftermath of the attack, confusion and fear reigned. The authorities initially treated the incident as a horrific accident. However, disturbing details soon emerged, casting suspicion over the incident. The driver, killed in a shootout with police, remained unidentified. A black cloth with markings was found tied to a pole attached to the truck. The FBI swiftly took the lead in the investigation. The suspect's vehicle had crossed the border from Mexico just 2 days prior. The New Orleans attack, with its chilling echoes of past tragedies, served as a stark reminder of the ever-present threat of terrorism. The ghost of 9/11's, a day forever seared into the collective memory of the nation, loomed large over the investigation. The attacks on that fateful day, a catastrophic failure of imagination, forced the United States to confront a new and terrifying reality. The 9/11's attacks marked a watershed moment in the history of the United States. They exposed the nation's vulnerability to a new breed of enemy, one that operated in the shadows, exploiting the very freedoms that America held dear. In the aftermath of the attacks, the nation embarked on a fundamental reassessment of its security apparatus. The FBI, once primarily focused on domestic crime, underwent a profound transformation. Tasked with the daunting responsibility of preventing future attacks, the agency shifted its resources and priorities to counter-terrorism. The expanded powers granted to law enforcement agencies, while necessary in the eyes of many, raised concerns about civil liberties. The New Orleans attack, with its chilling use of a vehicle as a weapon of mass casualty, highlighted a disturbing trend in modern terrorism. Vehicle ramming attacks, once a relatively rare occurrence, have become increasingly prevalent in recent years, leaving a trail of carnage across the globe. From the bustling Christmas markets of Berlin to the crowded Promenade des Anglais in Nice, terrorists have exploited the accessibility and lethality of vehicles to deadly effect. These attacks, often carried out with chilling simplicity, have demonstrated the ability of individuals or small groups to inflict mass casualties with minimal planning or resources. The ease of access to vehicles, coupled with their inherent destructive potential, makes them an attractive option for terrorists seeking to inflict maximum damage. Moreover, the relative lack of sophistication required to carry out such attacks makes them difficult to detect and prevent. Law enforcement agencies around the world have been grappling with the challenge of combating this evolving threat. The focus has shifted towards bolstering physical security measures, such as installing bollards and barriers in crowded areas, and enhancing surveillance capabilities. The 9/11 attacks fundamentally altered the landscape of surveillance in the United States. In the name of national security, the government embarked on an unprecedented expansion of its surveillance powers, ushering in an era of mass data collection and analysis. The passage of the Patriot Act, a controversial piece of legislation, granted law enforcement agencies sweeping authority to monitor communications, track internet activity, and access personal records without a warrant. This expansion of surveillance powers was justified as a necessary measure to prevent future attacks by allowing intelligence agencies to connect the dots and identify potential threats before they materialized. However, the expansion of surveillance has not come without its critics. Civil liberties groups have raised concerns about the erosion of privacy rights and the potential for abuse. They argue that the government's ability to collect vast amounts of data on its citizens without their knowledge or consent is a dangerous infringement on fundamental freedoms. The debate over surveillance in a post-9/11 world is a complex one with no easy answers. The New Orleans attack, with its potential links to international terrorism, highlighted the increasingly interconnected nature of global security threats. The lines between domestic and foreign threats have become blurred, as conflicts in distant lands spill over into the streets of America. The ongoing conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine, with their complex web of actors and agendas, have created fertile ground for the spread of extremism. Groups like ISIS, fueled by a toxic ideology of hate and violence, have exploited these conflicts to recruit followers and expand their reach. The rise of social media has further exacerbated the problem, providing terrorist organizations with a powerful tool for propaganda and recruitment. Through carefully curated online content, these groups spread their message of hate, targeting disaffected individuals and luring them into their fold. The interconnected nature of global conflicts poses significant challenges for law enforcement and intelligence agencies. The New Orleans attack served as a stark reminder that the threat of terrorism, far from diminishing, continues to evolve and adapt. As the world grapples with the rise of new technologies, shifting geopolitical alliances, and the enduring appeal of extremist ideologies, the challenge of combating terrorism will only become more complex. The attack highlighted the need for a multifaceted approach to counterterrorism, one that goes beyond traditional law enforcement measures. Addressing the root causes of extremism, such as poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunity, is crucial to stemming the flow of recruits to terrorist organizations. International cooperation is also essential. Terrorism knows no borders, and effectively combating it requires a coordinated global effort. Sharing intelligence, coordinating law enforcement operations, and working together to counter terrorist financing are all critical components of a successful counterterrorism strategy. Finally, building resilient communities is paramount. By fostering a sense of unity, promoting tolerance, and empowering communities to resist extremist ideologies, we can mitigate the impact of terrorism and build a more secure future. The fight against terrorism is a marathon, not a sprint.